Now, the Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, employs less than 350 people, covering a country of over 27 million people. This essentially means one EPA personnel is to about 77,000 people, representing, in some instances, a whole districts in Ghana. This disturbing trend has crept into the oil and gas sector, where the EPA relies mainly on its Jubilee partners for monitoring. Today, we explore how monitoring is done in the Keta Basin, where onshore gas exploration has just begun.
Keta in the Volta region is part of the Voltairean Basin, where onshore oil exploration has begun by Swiss Africa Oil Company. At the beach of Keta, I have come to see who might be mostly affected by the Keta Basin exploration. It took virtually twice the time I would have taken because the main road through the Keta township has been eroded 3 times by the boisterous waves. The Keta area actually has been hit several times, people relocated too many times, and this road is a typical example. This is actually the 3rd of the roads that has been constructed in this area that has been eaten by the sea. Well, so the expectations of the people in this community is that the oil find does not come to add another disaster to their livelihood. Several people through the Keta Defense Program were relocated, but many others are still around. Their lives really depends on the sea, which is also eating away roads, walls, houses, and in some cases a whole town.
We are constantly hit by the sea waves. The destruction is massive. During the construction of the sea defense, some people got the opportunity to relocate, but others like us could not, because the houses meant for us went to others.
Salasi Mauto has heard of a probable oil exploration in the district. Employment opportunities are high on his list, but the environment for the survival of his family will not be compromised.
We have mixed feelings about the oil exploration. Our fear is that if there is a spill, fishing here will end.
At the Keta Sea Defense, the head of the oil and gas unit at the Environmental Protection Agency, Kojo Agbeno Ifunam, says the agency does not have the men. While the United Kingdom, for example, has over 3,000 workers for the same land size, Ghana has less than 400 at the EPA. In the whole of the Volta region of Ghana, where oil and gas exploration has begun, no one has been specially trained for the oil and gas sector. We're coming to do onshore.
Yes.
Are you ready?
No, in the sense that the kind of the manpower that we need for this activity to take place to the satisfaction of the people and let me say the Ghanaians as a whole, we do not have that kind of the human capacity that we need currently.
Neither are they adequately prepared for any emergencies, as there is no budget allocation for that. But your capacity is very low, and the sort of money that is voted for your department every year is woefully inadequate to really monitor and execute the kind of mandates that you have to execute onshore.
We are hoping for better days.
The agency, since the oil find, has depended on the partners to monitor the operations at the rig. So the question is how the Environmental Protection Agency can monitor effectively at this rate.
If it is the offshore, then we have some obligation on the companies that if we are going, they will have to assist in taking us there.
This came up strongly during the Itlos case between Ghana and Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast accused Ghana for not doing proper monitoring of the high seas and flouting environmental regulations.
They said the environmental legal system that we have is not strong enough, it's porous. And they made some let me say, allegations about it. The second one is the system that we have in terms of the environmental management. It's not strong, it's not good. Then the third one, like citing some alleged incidents that took place and EPA did not do anything. So those were the three main things that they raised against the EPA or the environmental side of the oil and gas.
12 key areas for investing the annual budget funding allocation since its inception has also ambiguously included the environment. But this has not really materialized at the EPA, where monitoring of the environment is supposed to be done. Ghana's first onshore license has been given, but the EPA is not ready for monitoring in terms of their staff strength and resources. A spill at Keta will mean double disaster. That's the act of God, that's the sea waves, and the act of man, that's oil spills. The Assembly is worried the presence of the EPA is conspicuously missing.
I want to appeal to the EPA so that their capacity building, as we are just talking about, they have to come so that at this time I don't feel maybe we are prepared for it. But as times are going on, I feel that we should build our capacity so that when there is anything that we are just talking about, we know how we can bring it to the system so that we all move as a country.
Community engagement is a top priority for the EPA and others involved in the oil sector, including the GMPC. Freedom FM is the largest private sector radio station in the catchment area for exploration. Presenters had never heard about the issuance of the exploration license for the first onshore activity.
Issue of oil exploration, we've heard something like that. But as to how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and who are the people doing it, we have no idea.
It is not expected that companies would naturally take responsibility even when their funding depends on it. For example, Shell's 55-year-old oil pipeline ruptured in 2008 and 2009. That's in Nigeria, but it was until October 2017 that some efforts were being made to salvage the situation. Bodo, the largest affected town by the activities of Shell in the Ogoni land, has resisted further operations in the area, and here in Ghana, residents of Keta are ready to resist too if operators do not do the right things.
We will not allow their activities to affect our environment. We are already suffering. We don't have jobs. The little we have cannot be destroyed.
The lessons from Nigeria have been drawn severally when it comes to oil revenue management, local content among others. But when it comes to environmental management, it leaves much to be desired. Head of the oil and gas unit at the EPA, Kojo Agbeno Efunam, says financing the EPA to function properly should not be taken lightly.
All right, that's it for AM Business this week here on the AM Show.